Hello everyone, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day. Today, we're going to explore one of the most emotional chapters in Jack and Tu Tien's journey, a story where love is tested by pain and faith is reborn through kindness. Jack's dream of building the happy home suddenly shatters when he collapses from illness, but Tu Tien's love becomes the light that brings everything back to life. Stay with me until the end to feel how love can heal even the deepest wounds. And if you enjoy heartfelt family stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next touching episode. The faint light of dawn filters through the curtains, painting soft golden streaks across the unfinished walls of the happy home. The dream house Jack has been building for Tu Tien and their twins. The place smells faintly of fresh cement and hope. Tools are scattered on the wooden table, plans rolled out, and a coffee cup left half full beside Jack's notebook filled with sketches and deadlines. Jack sits by the open window, breathing heavily. His hand trembles slightly as he lifts the cup, but he forces a smile when he sees the framed photo of Tu Tien holding their two babies. Just a little more, he murmurs to himself, his voice hoarse but full of determination. Just a few more days, and it'll be ready for them. Outside, workers move about, hammering and mixing concrete. The sound blends with the morning breeze and the chirping of birds, a melody of life and persistence. But inside, Jack feels a strange chill crawling up his spine. His vision blurs for a moment. He steadies himself, gripping the edge of the table, trying to ignore the dizziness. "I can't stop now," he whispers. A knock sounds on the door. Jack's mother enters, carrying a basket of breakfast, rice porridge, boiled eggs, and warm tea. "Jack, you need to rest," she says gently, setting the tray down. "You've been pushing yourself too hard." Jack smiles faintly, sweat dripping down his temple. "Mom, I promised Tu Tien this house. I just need to finish the roof, then the kitchen. She deserves to see it shine." His mother sighs, worry shadowing her face. "You can't build anything if your body collapses first." He chuckles weakly. "I'm fine, just tired." But before he can finish, his knees buckle. The room spins. The cup falls and shatters. Jack collapses beside the table, his body trembling. His mother screams, rushing to his side. Moments later, the door bursts open. Dr. Thoa, their family friend, rushes in with her medical bag. "Step back, Auntie," she says, kneeling beside Jack. She checks his pulse, then his forehead. He's burning up. His temperature's too high. Jack's eyelids flutter open, his lips pale. "Just a fever. I'm okay," he mumbles. Thoa shakes her head. "No, Jack. This isn't just exhaustion. You're dehydrated, overworked. I need to set an IV." She quickly prepares the injection, her movements practiced but tense. The sound of the needle clicking open fills the room. Jack's mother clasps her hands together, murmuring silent prayers. "Thoa, please. He's never been this sick," she says through tears. Thoa gives a small nod. "I'll do my best. But he needs to rest, completely. No work, no stress." As the IV drip begins, a rhythmic tap, tap, tap echoes through the quiet room. Jack's breathing evens slightly, though sweat still beads on his forehead. He turns his head weakly, his voice faint. "Doctor, I can't stop. The kids. Tu Tien." Thoa looks at him firmly. "Jack, if you don't stop now, you might never finish what you started. Let others help you." But Jack only smiles, eyes glistening. "I just want them to have a home." The words stab gently into the air, heavy with love and fatigue. His mother turns away, wiping her tears. Hours pass. The golden light fades into afternoon shadows. The hum of the IV is the only sound that breaks the silence. Thoa packs her bag but pauses before leaving. I'll come back tonight to check on him, keep the room cool, and make sure he drinks something warm. Jack's mother nods, still sitting by his side. Thank you, Thoa. I'll do everything you said. As the door closes, Jack stirs faintly. Mom, don't tell Tu Tien yet. She'll worry. His mother strokes his hand. She deserves to know, Jack. I will, when I can stand up again. He forces a faint grin, but his body trembles. Later that evening, the sound of the front gate creaks open. Tu Tien steps inside, holding a basket of fresh herbs and rice from the market. Her steps slow when she notices the quietness of the house. Mom? She calls softly. Jack's mother appears at the door, her eyes red-rimmed. He's in the room. Don't be alarmed. Tu Tien's heart races as she rushes inside. The moment she sees Jack lying weakly on the bed, a thin IV line running to his arm, her breath catches. Jack, what happened? He tries to sit up, but fails. Just a little fever, he whispers, forcing a smile. Tu Tien's eyes fill with tears. Why didn't you tell me? You've been working non-stop. I didn't want to worry you. Jack, she murmurs, her voice trembling. She turns to the stove, lighting a small fire. Soon, the aroma of chicken porridge mixed with perilla leaves fills the air. The same soup Jack once made for her when she was sick. She carries the bowl to his bedside and sits down. Her hands are gentle as she stirs the porridge, blowing softly to cool it. Here, have some. I'll feed you, she says. Jack looks at her, eyes full of tenderness. Tu Tien, you're amazing. I don't deserve you. Don't say that, she scolds softly, her voice breaking. You've given me everything. Just rest now. He takes a small sip, the warmth spreading through him. It's good, just like I remember. Tu Tien smiles, brushing away her tears. You have to get better soon. The kids are waiting for you. The house can wait. Jack nods faintly, his hand reaching for hers. Their fingers intertwine, a silent promise passing between them. Outside, the evening breeze rustles the leaves. The sun dips below the horizon, casting long orange beams across the floor. Inside, the IV drip keeps time with the rhythm of Tu Tien's heartbeat. She wipes the sweat from his forehead with a damp towel, her movements careful and full of love. Every gesture carries memory of the storms they survived, of the laughter they built together, of the fragile hope that keeps them going. Jack's breathing slows, his eyelids heavy. Tu Tien, he murmurs, if I don't finish the happy home in time. She stops him with a gentle finger over his lips. Shh, you will. But even if you don't, we already have our happy home. Right here. He smiles faintly, drifting towards sleep. The sound of her voice the last thread keeping him grounded. Tu Tien watches him for a long while, then turns her gaze toward the window. The twilight glows soft and golden, wrapping the room in a quiet peace. She whispers to herself, even if this house never stands, I'll stand by him, always. The night deepens, but inside their small room, the warmth of love endures, fragile, glowing, unbreakable. The next morning, the first light of dawn creeps into the small room, touching the corners of the faded curtains. The faint scent of porridge still lingers in the air. Tu Tien hasn't slept. She sits by Jack's bedside, her head resting lightly on her folded arms. The IV bottle beside him drips slowly, the rhythm steady like a heartbeat. Jack stirs weakly, his eyes fluttering open, For a moment, confusion clouds his gaze. Then he sees Tu Tien asleep by his side. He smiles faintly, though his lips are dry. His hand, trembling slightly, reaches out and brushes her hair. "You stayed all night," he whispers, voice barely audible. Tu Tien wakes instantly at the sound. "Jack, you're awake," she exclaims softly, relief flooding her face. She sits up quickly, checking his forehead. "Your fever's gone down a little," she says, her eyes shining with hope. Jack tries to sit, but dizziness forces him back down. "I shouldn't have scared you," he says weakly. I wanted to finish everything before the twins' birthday." Tu Tien shakes her head, her voice tender but firm. "You don't have to prove anything, Jack. You've already given us everything that matters." He smiles faintly. "I promised you the happy home." She takes his hand and presses it against her heart. "And you already built it, right here," she says softly. "The house is just bricks, but our love, that's the real foundation." Her words sink into him, soothing like rain over dry soil. Jack closes his eyes, feeling tears slip down his cheeks. He hasn't cried in years, but now he can't hold it back. "I'm sorry," he murmurs, "for worrying you, for forgetting to rest, for thinking strength means doing everything alone." Tu Tien leans closer, brushing his tears away with her thumb. "Love isn't about doing everything alone," she whispers. "It's about standing together, even when one of us falls." The room is silent except for the soft hum of the morning wind. A bird sings somewhere outside. The world feels fragile but alive. Suddenly, there's a soft knock. Jack's mother peeks in, carrying a bowl of fresh broth. "You're awake," she says, smiling with relief. "Thank the heavens." Jack manages a faint grin. "Good morning, Mom." She sets the bowl down, touching his forehead. "Still warm, but better. Dr. Thoa will come back this afternoon." Tu Tien helps Jack sit up slowly. "Drink a little, Jack. It'll help." She holds the bowl carefully as he takes a few sips. The warmth revives him, and for the first time in 2 days, color returns to his face. "I feel better already," he says, forcing a small smile. Tu Tien raises an eyebrow. "Don't you dare go near that construction site." He chuckles weakly. "You know me too well." "I do," she says softly. "That's why I'm saying it." Jack leans back, his voice quiet but thoughtful. "You know, when I first started building the happy home, I thought it was about walls and rooms, about keeping promises. But now I realize it's about moments like this, about you sitting here, not giving up on me." Tu Tien squeezes his hand. "Then let's finish it together when you're strong again, brick by brick, no rush." The day passes gently. The sunlight moves across the floor, tracing time in golden strokes. Occasionally, Jack dozes off, and each time he wakes, Tu Tien is still there, sometimes singing softly, sometimes quietly mending the twins' little shirts by hand. When Dr. Thoa returns in the afternoon, she smiles at the sight. "You look better, Jack," she says while checking his pulse. "You need a few more days of rest, and you'll be back on your feet." Jack nods. "Thank you, Doctor." Thoa glances at Tu Tien. "He's lucky to have someone like you. Not everyone loves this deeply." Tu Tien smiles modestly. "We've both been through storms together. I just can't imagine a world without him." Thoa nods, understanding. "Love heals faster than any medicine. Keep feeding him well. And no stress, Jack. Promise?" Jack chuckles softly. "Promise." When Thoa leaves, the late afternoon light spills through the window, painting everything warm. Jack leans his head against the pillow, eyes soft. You remember the night we first talked about the happy home? He asks. Tu Tien smiles, recalling. You drew it on a napkin under that flickering streetlight. You said it would be small, but full of laughter. Jack laughs weakly. Yeah. You said the kitchen had to face the east, so the morning light could touch our breakfast table. She nods. And the window near the bed had to show the rice fields, so every morning we could wake up and see the world grow again. Jack's eyes gleam. You remembered every detail. How could I forget? She replies softly. This house isn't just your dream, Jack. It's ours. The words fill the air like sunlight through mist. Jack's heart swells with warmth. For the first time since he fell ill, he feels something powerful rise inside him. Not just strength, but peace. That evening, after dinner, Tu Tien opens the window. The night sky is clear, stars glittering above. The cool wind brushes against the curtains. Jack gazes out, the soft hum of crickets filling the silence. I used to think happiness was a finish line, he says quietly. A house completed, debts paid, dreams achieved. But maybe it's not. Maybe happiness is just this. Being alive, seeing you smile, hearing our children laugh. Tu Tien's eyes glisten. She leans her head on his shoulder. Then let's stay here a little longer. No rush to finish, no deadlines, just us. He wraps an arm around her gently. The IV bottle is empty now, the drip silent. But Jack doesn't need it anymore. He feels alive again, fragile, yet full of love. A few days later, with Thoa's approval, Jack steps outside for the first time since his illness. The air smells fresh, the sky wide and blue. Workers wave to him from the yard. Boss Jack, you're back, one calls out. Jack grins. Not yet, just visiting. Tu Tien walks beside him, her hand lightly holding his arm. They walk slowly through the half-finished house. The walls are up now, the roof nearly done. The sound of hammers echoes faintly, steady and strong. He stops in the middle of the main room, looking around. This is where we'll have dinner together, he says softly. Over there, the twins' room. And here. He gestures toward a half-framed doorway. This will be your reading corner. Tu Tien smiles. And your chair right beside it, so you can fall asleep halfway through your plans. They both laugh. The sound blends with the wind. Simple, warm, human. Jack turns to her, eyes full of quiet gratitude. Tu Tien, I realized something. The happy home isn't about what I build with my hands. It's about what we build with our hearts. You gave me strength when I had none left. Tu Tien cups his face gently. And you gave me hope when everything was gone. That's love, Jack. That's our home. As the sun sets, the half-built house glows in golden light. The unfinished walls seem to breathe with life, not of concrete and brick, but of dreams, devotion, and healing. Jack closes his eyes, whispering softly, Thank you, Tu Tien, for loving me through the storm. She smiles through her tears. Always. Outside, the wind carries the scent of earth and rain, the same scent that marked their beginning. Inside, between unfinished walls, love has already built something perfect. Their happy home stands not as a structure, but as a testament that even in weakness, love builds what strength alone never could.